Yeah, what is good, my anime people? What is good, guys, I thought it would be only fitting, since this guy is one of the most deadliest monsters. I thought I'd bring out my own deadly monster. Um, I honestly don't know what to expect with this show, man. Like, not only were they in a position where they pretty much should have lost, like they should not be alive right now in the circumstances they were in, but somehow, some way, here we are, and they are very much alive and kicking. But for how long, we do not know. Um, with quick thinking by Claire, she actually gets a lot of these people out and safe, but it's that thought process and that way of like pushing things forward with her that's so scary about her. Not only did she have the plan of, pretty much making her group feel uneasy, she then specifies that it's pretty much the best way to go. It's the best way to handle all of this that's going on. And it's scary to think of what she's going to be capable of, right? Like, she is absolutely beast like, and she doesn't even need the costume to be a beast. So it's these types of things that really go to show you who's always gonna be the dominant one. Who's always gonna be the dominant one, and not only dominate, but pretty much make it clear that no one should, you know, no one who's getting too close is going to probably last long, right? Like, she definitely has the feels of not jealousy, but ultimately she doesn't want to be betrayed, right? Like, to think that someone who you've called your other half even considered having someone inside of him, in this case of the transformation, and just doing what he can to pretty much get by, it goes to show her, Claire, that he's capable of, you know, working with other people. He's capable of maybe stabbing you in the back. There's so much she could take from this that we just have to see how she's actually taking it, because at this point it definitely felt like she was in a position where it just wasn't as obvious, I guess you can say, that whenever he is alone and she's not with him, he might have to go to whatever resort he has to, or whatever resort he can, to be able to live, to be able to get things done. And I honestly don't think she liked that, as a whole. Like, knowing that someone else went inside and maybe even gotten closer to him as much as she has seems to be one of the reoccurring themes that she doesn't really speak upon, I guess you can say. Like, she really seems closed off when it comes down to telling him anything or showing him emotion now, compared to when she was always just kind of open and telling him different things that is on her mind that she thinks will work out, stuff like that. So it's clear that some type of disconnect has happened, and that's where she started saying, "Oh, you're too good of a kid to be doing what I'm gonna do. You should just get out of here." And that gave me the instance of her still thinking that she actually doesn't believe, they're going to be, uh, the same people that she wants, right? Like the same, "Oh, you're my half, I'm your half" type of deal, when he's already shown that, hey, I could just grab someone else and put them inside me, and even live out of a battle that when other people saw it, they could instantly tell something ridiculous happened, right? It's not like one of those battles where, oh, 3 trees got knocked over. No, there was craters. There was trees broken at different levels of, where it starts. There was a ridiculous amount of action that took place. And here comes both of them, the people that were involved in it, completely not, like, dead or even really injured, I can say. Out of all of it, they didn't really take much damage from what the people could see, right? That's very important to say because they they took a whole lot of damage, and to think that they came out looking unscathed must be another reason to pause for Claire. And just in the grand scheme of, did he even need me? Did he do better without me? These are all things she can't really even get the answer to because she's not capable of getting it out of the one person who actually might remember what happened. So it's getting really, really interesting when it comes down to this girl. She's very, very weird in the grand scheme of the way they're setting her up and the way that they have her kind of just bouncing around throughout this week's episode, in the case of kind of saying the things that need to be said, and not only saying the things that need to be said, but she snuffed out one of the worst characters on their team, who I think deserved everything he just got happen to him, by giving him an opportunity to pretty much be able to snitch, but at the same time, he is under like an agreement. Like, to think that the way you would go out is by you thinking you're helping, you thinking you're doing something for the greater group, or not even the greater group, just the two people that you want to survive. It goes to show you how much better sometimes this villainous persona is of Claire's compared to someone who is completely cowardice and was willing to turn in everybody to save their own skin. So that's the type of stuff we're dealing with here, is people that will go out of their way to make sure they're in their best position. And with the, like, for instance, the girl who the guy with the glasses was even trying to save, does he even know that she might not have wanted that, right? Like, what if that all that pops off and he tries to save her and whatnot, but she doesn't even want to go. She doesn't even want that to be her way out of the situation. So it's getting really interesting. The flower trick was very, very intelligent on Claire's part, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if she has a lot more of these tricks and up her sleeve, and if she can always think this quick on the fly, which would be super deadly. Um, Not only did she come up with a way out of all of this, she almost came up with a way for them all to survive, and the only person who died is one that lost faith in her and went out of his way to try to snitch and get her caught up. So that's the type of people we're dealing with in this show, and that's what really makes this all the better to watch, is because I was skeptical too. I was like, how many people is she about to just let get bodied because she doesn't really care for any of them? And with this plan, no one's getting bodied so far, besides the people that actually had them on the ropes, actually had them thinking about making a choice on who to sacrifice. And yet, now those people are on the defensive, and because the obvious is happening, in the grand scheme of just, hey, you're going to come at us that way, then we're going to need to pretty much change our whole entire tactics and see where we get from there. So I'm pretty happy with what we got out of all this. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys are thinking about this show as a whole, because now that we know a little bit more of what could pop off at any time, we will just have to see where this goes at the end of the day. Like, where does this end? Because at this point, I feel like we've only are like getting the tip of the iceberg in this at this time. and we're just gonna have to see where it ends up going. So with all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So with that being said, take care and peace.